Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video we're going to sit down and have the chats. I feel like it's been a while since we've sat down and properly had like a Q&A and a proper chat. So this evening I put up a questions feature on my Instagram story and told you to send in all your fitness questions that you had for me, because even though I do have like a fitness YouTube channel, I feel like there's only certain topics that I touch on in each video and I haven't sat down and actually answered the most frequently asked questions in a while. So I thought it'd be a good idea to sit down, have the chat and bring you through things and hopefully educate you, because that is one of the main purposes of this channel. I want to educate you as much as I can through having fun videos as well. So I'm not going to delay things. I'm going to get straight into the questions and get this Q&A going. So one really commonly asked question I get on my channel and on my Instagram page is how to reduce bloating. So this girl asked how to reduce lower belly bloating, or just tips for reducing bloating in general came up a lot. So my first piece of advice, if you find yourself getting really uncomfortably bloated all the time, then go to your doctor and make sure you don't have any food intolerances, because it's not normal to bloat all the time. You probably have some sort of food intolerance in there somewhere. But on a day-to-day basis, many of us bloat. It's normal. Like I bloat after most of my meals. If I have a heavy carb meal or just a voluminous meal in general, a lot of people confuse bloating with just having a belly full of food, and it's completely normal. You're not going to have a flat stomach day in, day out, all day, every day. One thing that definitely helps with bloating and digestion in general is drinking plenty of water. So I make it a priority to drink plenty of water with my meal and after I eat my meal. And I do this even with my cheat meals as well. I find sometimes when I have cheat meals and if I don't drink enough water, I find it literally just sits in my stomach and I feel so crappy. So drink plenty of water when you are eating your meals. And the second one that really has helped me over the past few months is getting moving after I eat. So when I say get moving, I don't mean you need to go to the gym and do a workout or do like a home HIIT workout. I literally mean go for like a 10 or 15 minute walk, tidy your apartment, just get up from the couch or from the table and start moving, because that definitely helps with digestion. I know they're two really simple tips, but honestly they do work, so try them and let me know how you get on. Another question I got, which a few of the gals have asked too, is that I literally get really confused by the terms push and pull. Can you explain? You would see a lot on my Instagram that I used to do a push-pull legs workout split. So push and pull are broken down into different body parts. So a push workout would consist of your chest, shoulders and triceps, because if you think about it, it's all pushing movements that you'd be doing with those muscle groups. And then a pull workout works out your back and your biceps. Another question that I got is, when you're having a bad day and really don't want to train, what motivates you to go? So I think motivation really depends on the person, and I don't think many people will have the exact same source of motivation. To be honest, I think motivation comes and goes. It's discipline that makes the difference. Like there are days where I really don't want to train, but I've disciplined myself enough to know that I'm going to get it done either way, and I'll always feel better after I train. When it comes to motivation, like as I said, a lot of us have different goals. So my motivation at the moment is that I know I'm going to be stepping on stage to a bikini competition at some point, either the end of this year or the start of next year. So that's my main source of motivation. But to another person, they might never think of stepping on stage. It might just be a girl's holiday you're going on, a birthday, a family occasion, a dress you want to fit into. You basically just need to remember why you started training in the first place, why you started your plan. Remember that you're always going to feel better after a session, and create good habits, because you won't have to look for motivation all the time if you created good habits for yourself in the first place and if you've disciplined yourself into a good routine. Okay, another good question is, how does sugar affect your body / weight loss? Carbs alone will not affect your weight loss. It's the amount of carbs, and more importantly the amount of overall calories that will affect your weight loss. I feel like there's still a stigma attached to sugars and carbohydrates in general, and people still associate carbs and sugars with weight gain or bloating, or like they never ever associate them with weight loss. I don't think I've ever done a low carb diet. I've done low carbs on rest days before and I've gotten to pretty low body fat percentages while still eating a good amount of carbs. I feel like sometimes people put a lot of focus on individual macronutrients like proteins, fats and carbs as opposed to the overall calorie intake. Sugar really doesn't affect your weight loss. It is the amount of sugar and the amount of calories that will affect your weight loss. Once you're in a calorie deficit, you could eat only carbohydrates all day, every day. Obviously, I don't recommend doing that, But scientifically, you could just eat carbohydrates all day, every day, and once you're in a calorie deficit, you will still lose weight. So don't be afraid of carbs, gals. Do you ever get bruises from doing hip thrusts? The answer is yes. Have you seen the size of my hips? My hip bones are literally enormous, and I often do get little bruises on the front of them from doing hip thrusts. But they used to be a lot worse in the past, but I just have like really good padding now, and I pad it up as much as I can so the bar doesn't bruise me as much. But it's normal to get little bruises there if you're a girl with bigger hips. Do you ever squat heavy, like 3 to 5 reps or even 1 rep? The answer is I do squat heavy, but I never really do a rep range as low as that. My lowest rep range would maybe at a push be 5, but normally like 6 to 8 would be my lowest rep range. And asking do I squat heavy, then that's just a given. Of course, you're going to squat as heavy as you can for progressive overload. So I do squat heavy, but at maybe a push 5 to 8 reps would be my lowest. New here, so I might be behind, but what kind of discipline do you have for food and training? My discipline with food and training at the moment is I am currently working off a meal plan, and I give meal plans to all my clients as well. And with training, I recently changed it up from a push-pull leg split to an upper-lower split. So I have upper-lower rest, and I just keep repeating that cycle, and I'm really liking it. I'm also doing cardio twice a week at the moment because I'm on a lean gain. I did a mini cut before I went to Thailand a couple of weeks back, but I'm back on my lean gain at the moment, so I just do cardio twice a week on my rest days. If you weren't a fitness athlete, what would you be in life? So if I wasn't doing like YouTube and Instagram and fitness in general, I feel I'd probably be a professor of some sort, because I am at the moment taking a gap year from studying biochemistry. I've always had a scientific background. I absolutely love everything to do with physiology and biochemistry, so I definitely think I'd be working in a lab somewhere, hopefully like leading a lab as a professor. That would be really cool. But yeah, we'll see where the road takes me. I'm not sure if I'll ever end up in a lab, but what I do know is that I'll keep learning anyway. Do I recommend counting macros as a beginner? And the answer is absolutely yes. If you are new to the gym and new to dieting, I think counting macros for a couple of weeks will definitely stand to you in the long term. Even if you don't want to track calories for the rest of your life, which I don't think many people do, it will still help you a lot with making better food choices in the future, because you'll become a lot more aware of the calories and macros in different foods, and you'll become better at eyeing up foods basically. So I know a lot of fitness influencers that are able to eye up foods really well, and that's because they've tracked calories and macros for so many years that it becomes a lot easier after some time. So yes, if you're new to the gym, counting macros is definitely something that will help you in the long term. Or even if you want to work from a meal plan, that's another thing that I would recommend to people, so that they can get a better idea for dieting in the future. What's my favorite body part to train? Probably back. I've always just loved training back, and back is probably my strongest point, like physique wise. So I think that for a lot of people, when you have a strong point, you like training your strong points more. So maybe that's why I love training back. But yeah, I know a lot of people would be surprised that it's not legs, but legs is a close contender as well. I'm finding training and the gym easy. It's the diet part I can't hack. Any tips? So I feel like you're definitely not alone, because the diet is obviously the hardest part, because that actually requires sacrifice on a daily basis. Dieting is by no means easy, and I feel like a lot of influencers make it out that, oh, you should always have balance and always have fun and never restrict yourself, when that's actually just not realistic for someone that's new to training and actually wants to get results. That's great for someone with great genetics or someone that's trained and dieted for years before saying that. But that's something I actually really wanted to address, because obviously I preach balance and I preach happiness and I preach you enjoying yourself, but I also preach the graft that it takes to change your physique and get good results. And it doesn't always have to be a negative thing that you're making a sacrifice. So yeah, that was like a little mini rant, but I obviously agree with them to a certain extent when they say balance and enjoy yourself, but you need to have some level of sacrifice and some level of work ethic to get results in the first place. So you're not alone when you struggle with the diet part, because all of us do. do, but honestly it just takes a couple of days or maybe like a week or two to get into a different routine, adapting to new eating habits. But it honestly does get easier with time, and as soon as you start seeing results as well with your diet, it becomes easier to stick to. So just stick it out for the first 2 weeks and trust me, it gets so much easier. Okay, I don't think this is a fitness question, but it's funny, so I'm gonna answer it anyway. Do you / have you ever smoked weed? You know what, I actually haven't. I haven't smoked weed. I'm not sure how this question came up in a fitness Q&A, but I think weed is pretty common, like over here. Even though it's illegal over here, I feel like every second person does smoke weed, so I don't know. Am I missing out? You can let me know in the comment section because I have never tried it myself. Does weight really matter? I'm guessing you mean like your body weight, and the answer is absolutely not. I rarely ever use the scales to dictate my progress. Honestly, I've been sitting at around 121 to 123 pounds for the last year and a half, and I look so different compared to what I did a year and a half ago. So no, the scales does not matter. Don't get upset if you don't see your scale weight moving, because it's not the be all and end all of your progress. I always tell my clients to look in the mirror first and tell by your clothes and go by people that you spend a lot of time with, because they are the best dictators for seeing how well you are doing. Does macro split matter, as in if carbs are higher, fats are lower, but still meet calories? So this is a really good question. In my opinion, the only thing that really matters when it comes to splitting up your macros is your protein intake. After that, I often play around a lot with my carbs and fats. Unless you're doing like a competition prep or a photo shoot or something like really meticulous, I think everybody has enough room to play around with their carbs and fats once your protein intake is met. How many rest days do you have a week? So I kind of answered that question earlier. I have 2 days on, 1 day off. So I don't really do it on a weekly basis. I just do it on my on days and my off days. So it varies each week because of that. But normally in and around 5 times a week I train, and I normally have 2 rest days. Best exercises for growing the booty. If I had to pick 2, I would pick hip thrusts and sumo deadlifts. They're both really, really good exercises. Once you're going heavy and incorporating progressive overload, those 2 exercises are an absolute killer for growing your glutes. Somebody asked thoughts on skipping as cardio. I think there's no problem with skipping for cardio. You can do any form of exercise for cardio. And I do get this question a lot from my clients, because some of them really like doing spinning classes, other people like doing HIIT classes, or just classes in general and being in a group setting. Or if you prefer skipping, it really doesn't matter what form of cardio you're doing. Once you're hitting the amount of calories you need to hit, and once you're enjoying it, it's so important to enjoy your workout routine. So to answer your question, I think skipping is great, and definitely use it as your cardio if you like it. What are the best exercises for growing your quads? Personally, I think leg extension is really, really good exercise for growing your quads, because it basically just focuses on your quad. It's a really good isolation movement. I think lunges are another great movement for working your quads. Pause leg press is another one. Narrow stance as well if you want to work on your outer sweep. I could honestly go on all day. Like if you're doing anything in narrow stance, it really focuses on your quads, like narrow stance squats, narrow stance leg pressed, pause leg pressed. I don't know if they asked me for 1, but yeah, I gave you 4 anyway, so you'll have plenty to choose from. Okay guys, I feel like hopefully I've answered enough questions for you in this Q&A, and I haven't been here for too long. If you do want me to elaborate on anything, then just leave it in the comment section and I can scroll down there and have some conversations with you afterwards. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do like this style of video where I sit down and answer questions, then let me know below, because I could make it like a routine that I do this every couple of weeks to keep on top of it. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.